Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 130, my brand new Comics Haul series, where I show you guys all the new books that I pick up at my LCS every week. Pretty good week of comics here, but before we get started, I just wanted to give a quick shout out. There's this new film that I just made with my sister called Visitor. It's on our YouTube channel, Downstairs Productions. I'll leave a link down in the description box below. It's like a mix of live action and animation. It's about this extraterrestrial who falls to Earth and navigates the city and everything. So if you've got a moment, watch it. I worked pretty hard on it, and I appreciate that. But let's just get right into it here with the first release of the week. We'll start with Image, because they've got a really big release this week. We've got Transformers issue number 1. So this is by Daniel Warren Johnson. As far as I know, this is an ongoing series. Not sure whether Daniel Warren Johnson himself will be able to write and draw every single issue like he does for this one. But it's the same creative team behind, Do a Powerbomb and everything. It's the same colorist. And he's one of my favorite writers and one of my favorite artists, I'd say. He's got kind of a scrappy art style. It's definitely a little bit messy, but also really calculated at the same time. His writing is really heartfelt a lot of the time. So I'm expecting something with a lot of character development. That's usually what he's good with, right? So we'll see how this ties into the ongoing Energon universe, which is also going to be happening in the G.I. Joe side of things. We've got a couple series coming out that are somehow going to be connected with that side of the universe. And then, of course, Void Rivals by Robert Kirkman is what's holding everything together. So artwork is looking pretty cool in here. I might do a single issue review of this one, like a non-spoiler one, if I've got time after I read it. So look out for that if you want to hear more about this issue. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know anything about Transformers. Here's a horizontal page. That's cool. I've never read anything Transformers. I can name maybe 2 of them. So this is definitely something that I'll have to jump into as a new reader. They've been marketing it as new reader friendly, so hopefully I'll be okay reading this. But yeah, I've been looking forward to this one. That's Transformers number 1. Next up, though, we've got the biggest Marvel release probably in a few months. They've been teasing this one for a super long time. We've got G.O.D.S number 1. So this costs $10. You get a good page count, I'm sure. But yeah, Marvel's really charging you a lot for these first issues of new series these days. But this is by Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti, right? I think they announced that there was going to be a new Hickman series at least a year ago. It might have been 2 years ago they started teasing this one. And it's some sort of new hierarchy of power in the Marvel Universe that's never been explored before. This could be kind of a big deal. Definitely some first appearances in this issue. And it's these G.O.D.S characters that have some sort of role to play. I'm not sure where they fall into, the structure of the Marvel Universe compared to the Eternals and people like that. But I know it somehow involves magic because Doctor Strange is in this first issue. Artwork is looking pretty solid in here. Hickman is always someone to keep your eyes on. He's got an interesting writing style. Sometimes it's a little bit boring, hard to understand. So hopefully in this first really long issue, we'll actually get some answers on who the gods are and everything. Looking forward to this one. I'm really curious what the deal even is, but it's also supposed to be ongoing, so we'll see about that. That's G.O.D.S number 1. Next up, let's go on over to Fall of X. We've got a couple issues that I picked up tying into that event this week. We've got Fall of X. This is X-Men number 27. Creepy looking cover there with Cyclops, his eyes sealed shut. He's being tortured by Orcus, right? So ever since Fall of X, the X-Men have been at their very lowest. They've been since the Krakoan era. We got an announcement recently that I'm probably going to make a longer breaking news video on once we have covers and everything for what's going to happen after Fall of X, right? So I think it was called Fall of House of X and Rise of Powers of X. So it's kind of a play on the original House of X and Powers of 10 series. And it might be somehow leading into the next era of X-Men after Krakoa. So I'm looking forward to that. I was wondering what all these random issues of random series that are supposedly all supposed to be an event, right, that Fall of X is so far, with no main flagship title. I was always wondering what that was going to lead to. So now we have kind of an answer, but there's still a lot left to go until we get there. And we just see this resistance of the X-Men trying to take down Orcus, infiltrate them from the inside in the main X-Men series. Meanwhile, though, over in Immortal X-Men, we got number 16 out this week. Creepy cover there, also with Apocalypse. He looks very looming. It's a good one by Mark Brooks. But this one focuses more on the mutants that went through the gates at the Hellfire Gala. Xavier somehow thought that they were being killed. Orcus told everybody that they're just going to be transported to Mars. But somehow Xavier's been led to believe that everyone is dead. Most of the other mutants think so also, but we've got this plotline in this series where a bunch of the mutants who went through those gates are now just in the middle of the desert trying to find sanctuary, right? So it's Mystique and Destiny and a few other characters are all here. And it's also been following Xavier, who's alone. He's exiled on Krakoa, and him taking down Orcus troopers who have been going to see what he's up to over there. And I guess Apocalypse is somehow going to be involved in this issue also. So I'd say, honestly, X-Men and Immortal X-Men are the top two comics you can be getting if you're trying to follow Fall of X. Uncanny Avengers is also pretty important. Those are the only three that I'm actually getting out of all the X-Men titles. But yeah, a lot happening. Next up, though, we got Doctor Strange, number 8. There's a lot of issues tying into events and stuff. This is one of the only normal ones that I picked up this week. This has been a really good series so far. It's gotten better and better with every issue, in my opinion. We've got this kind of crazy storyline going on right now where there's this futuristic version of Doctor Strange. And I think it was number 6. We saw the entire life story of this version of Stephen Strange, where he was tasked by the Vishanti, which are these gods that, control magic, the ones that Doctor Strange actually borrows magic from and has to repay debts to them all the time. They tasked him with fighting this 5,000-year war that changed him and made him this army general that we see him as now, who's a ruthless killer and everything. But he was welled up, right, and transported back to the present. The current Doctor Strange doesn't know that he exists, but then after the death of Doctor Strange, he was released, and now it's just this chain reaction, right? He's come back, and Doctor Strange has to fight this future version of himself. Jed MacKay is doing a really good job with this series. I wasn't loving it at the beginning, to be honest, but it's gotten better and better. And the art is leveling up every issue also, which has been really interesting. So Doctor Strange number 8, definitely a recommendation from me, but a little bit of a slow start, I'd say, if you haven't started that one yet. Next up, though, this is the last issue I picked up from Marvel. We've got Strange Academy, Amazing Spider-Man number 1. This is Solve for X part 3 of 3. So this is one of those things where Marvel does 3 different one-shot issues that all tie into each other, that all tell a continuous story. And this is just continuing on with what happened already with Strange Academy, but without the original creative team, right? They're done writing and drawing, so we're going to have to transition into some sort of new ongoing series at some point, which I think they have the intention of doing. But there's just kind of a bridge in between that. It's had to do with this story that has to do with enchantomatics, I think they're called. It's a mix between mathematics and magic that some of the Strange Academy students are learning that really levels up their skills and makes them more powerful. So yeah, the first issue was Miles Morales. We had a Moon Knight issue last time, and this one is Amazing Spider-Man, getting both Spider-Men involved, I guess. I really liked it so far, actually. I wasn't too sure about a new writer on Strange Academy besides Scotty Young, but Carlos Hernandez is the new guy writing this, so hopefully they'll also put him on the new ongoing series whenever that comes out, because I feel like he's captured the funny spirit of Strange Academy pretty well. That's Strange Academy, Amazing Spider-Man number 1. Lastly, I'll go over this quickly, but I got this with my store credit, so I got it for free. But this is Clementine Book 2. It's this, Image Comics series that comes out, I think, just once a year. So it's been a really long time since Book 1 came out, but it ties into the Walking Dead universe. Clementine, I guess, is a character from the Walking Dead video game, which I never played, but I've read some of the, Walking Dead ongoing series, so I just thought I'd try this out when the first book came out. It's in black and white and everything, but it's all by one person, Tilly Walden. And I really liked the first one. It was I might have read it in one sitting or something. Obviously, it's not a super long comic by any means, but a little bit shorter, or a little bit smaller than the regular paper-bound comic size. And it's really enrapturing. I definitely recommend this. The first one was great. Not sure how, new reader-friendly the second one is going to be. You might have to read the first one first. But yeah, looking forward to reading this when I get the time to. That's Clementine Book 2. So those are all these single issues in that one collection I picked up this week. A lot of good stuff to look forward to this week. And look out for my Transformers review. Hopefully I'll have the time to put that out today. Let me know what you guys picked up, though, down in the comment section below. And if you're not already subbed up to the channel, if you've been liking the content, make sure to do that. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.